All right, welcome to Soon to Be Legends. On today's show, Torrie Hudson, photographer extraordinaire, and welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Are you going to pitch it to me or no?
Yes, here it is. Byron,
Oh,
it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Clark. There we go. Hey, Clark, who's on the show?
Torrie Hudson.
Torrie,
Hey,
yes.
that's
Torrie
me.
Hudson, thank you
One
very
of my
much.
favorite people.
Yeah, here we are. So
man.
I'm very excited. We have Torrie Hudson on the show. This is Soon to Be Legends, powered by LDR Studios. We're at the lovely LDR Studios, which is, Clark, basically. So we're good there, right? So, and today we are going to be talking to Torrie Hudson of Torrie Hudson Photography, and we'll go a little into your background, where you come from, where you got all that. We'll start looking at some of your photos. We'll talk about some of your adventures. How's that sound?
Cool. Sounds good to me.
So, where do you want to start? Torrie Hudson, who are you?
Torrie Hudson. So,
Oh, wait, hold on. Torrie, Torrie,
correct.
right? Not Torry like
Nope.
like that. Yeah.
Torrie.
Good.
Hudson,
It'll
like
be
the
on
river.
so for the people that have a video, it'll be on the screen. The people who are listening to a podcast, we want to be able to spell that correctly so they can find your stuff on all the socials.
Perfect. Love
Cool. So, all right, sorry. I'll interrupt you a lot. This is how I roll.
It's all good.
So you're good.
Hey,
All right,
I
cool.
want you to ask all the questions
You
anyway.
just got to
so
interrupt
it's all
him
good.
back.
Yeah,
Right.
interrupt me back.
It's totally fine. So yeah, I'm Torrie. I'm a local photographer in the area. It's taken me on some
Okay, but
weird journeys.
Nobody knows where the area is. We're in the Indianapolis area, my friends. We're in the Indianapolis area. Of course, they may be listening to this in
Right,
Germany.
right.
You don't know.
I'm sure we'll get there.
We
We'll
might be
get
like
there.
David Hasselhoff and be like huge in Germany.
But we can also keep them like intrigued, like where are they
yeah,
from?
where's he from? Okay,
You don't want to give
so-
everything away like immediately.
Okay, that's a good point.
But that's actually a lot of like my brand where
That you're local?
That I'm local, and I don't put everything out there immediately. So I mean, we live in a world
did
now
I
where
accelerate this for you?
everybody wants to, kind of put everything and all their chips out there. I'm
Right.
like, just a little at a time.
Little at a time.
Yeah.
But but you say you're a local guy, right?
Right.
But one of the things we're going to get into, you've been quite a few places doing some photography stuff with some really interesting stories.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So I mean, that's kind of why I was like, if we just say local, it's like, oh, here, this
Right,
guy
right,
in this
right.
local town, taking senior photos, which you have also done.
I've done that.
Right,
I haven't done as many lately, but I
Yeah.
have.
No,
done
you're
it.
doing some high end cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is like we're gonna see some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so it's funny that you bring that up. I was just having that conversation recently.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this family photos and the senior photos, I love them because
Right.
it gives me that connection to people. But
Right.
when it comes to like making a living,
Right.
like I have to go after like the antelope versus like the field mice.
Oh,
Where it's
that's
like,
a lovely analogy.
tackle like these big projects,
Right.
and I can still make time for like those small things to keep me humble,
Right.
Still
And
in touch with my community,
Stay
and
in touch with
close
the
to
community.
people.
So senior
Yeah.
photos and you also have done a lot of weddings as well.
Right. So I do a limited amount of weddings,
Right.
like a year. So, I don't want to do weddings every single weekend because
Right.
that also takes away from
The
what I
big
could
stuff,
be doing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a long day.
It is a
Weddings are
long day.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
is.
But that's the whole point here that I'm trying to make is, you can do those photography and then you do that, and sometimes you need to do that to kind of pay the bills. But ultimately, you're getting this big stuff
Right.
where your photographs are actually moving from like memories to art.
Art, correct.
You're literally doing like full blown art shows.
Yes,
now.
yes.
So it's this you're evolving here, right?
Correct.
We have a show. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Soon to Be Legends, and we talk to people who are on the come. You're evolving this thing to come up like
Correct. Yep.
So legendary photography is right here. We're going to see some of that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where'd you start? Why photography? Where'd you get started?
So my mom always had her Kodak film camera, like
Okay.
all the time. And we never took family photos. It was
No?
never like, hey, let's go to JCPenney, let's go to Sears. I've done that one time in my life.
Oh, you meant so like the
And
portrait
so
things. Okay.
my
Glamour
mom
shots?
loved candid photos.
Oh, candid.
So it would be a tap on the shoulder, flash, like in your face. So if you
Okay.
go through like our photo
And you mean
albums,
flash of the camera, right? She wouldn't like take her top off.
Right.
Okay, good. Because those are different moms.
right? Those are different moms. But she would like if you go through our photo albums, it's all like surprise faces or
Right.
people like flipping the camera off because
Or
it's like
annoyed.
in those moments,
Right.
And so growing up, like pose photos was just never
Never
a
a
thing
thing.
for me.
That's cool.
And I never thought I wanted to get into photography.
Okay.
And it was when America's Next Top Model started.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was I was obsessed with the creative direction that they were taking and
Okay.
the sets they would build. but they would never show the photos long enough, and they never showed how they took the photos. So that was the
Okay.
only reason I watched it. And this was before, you could find things on YouTube.
Right.
So
There's
eventually,
definitely a lot of behind the scenes stuff
yes.
now, right?
And
Yeah,
so eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a camera. I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
And so I went to Best Buy. I bought like a cheap DSLR camera.
By the way, we're also looking for a sponsor, so Best Buy.
That's right.
I'm just-
Nikon.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
I'm a Nikon
first
guy.
camera was a Nikon, and
Right.
I brought it home, took some shitty pictures.
Yeah.
I remember going to AutoZone and buying like hot garage lights because you
Ooh.
need lights
Yeah,
to
lights.
light things up, right?
Right.
Just hot, I was in the loft. It's probably 10 degrees hotter in the house than it is like anywhere else.
Right.
And-
And you've got the lights.
And you got the lights, right?
Yeah, the
Right.
halogens are brutal.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So you're sitting there like, hey, I'm going to take a photo of you. Of course, you're going to be sweaty.
Right.
That's the deal.
Exactly. And so, just experimenting and
Right.
asking family members, hey, can I take your pictures?
Right.
Or, and then I had a doctor's office reach out.
Really?
And they were
so,
like-
so how does a doctor's office reach out when you're just taking photos up in the attic?
So I worked at Starbucks for about 10 years.
Okay.
And so a lot of my beginning clientele came from Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were my barista.
That's right. I knew you way back then.
I
I
was like,
remember you there at the Clay Terrace.
you remember that.
Yeah.
Well, this was way back at
No.
116th and
116th,
Allisonville.
I know.
Because I used to see you at the
Way back.
Roost.
See that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You used to chat it up with us all the time.
I chatted up with everybody.
Exactly.
That's
I
kinda
felt
why I do the
special.
show.
Byron
And then you're
likes
like, I
to
don't
talk.
remember you. I was like, oh. Wow.
I like
talking guy.
I'm a guy that likes to talk. Why? We should do a show about that.
Right, exactly. That's why we're here now.
Right. So yeah. So you're at Starbucks. You're
Yep.
working. You're a
So I'm at
barista.
Starbucks. I'm a barista, and even this right here,
Right.
it's been a full circle, and that's been my entire life, my entire career. This is taken off for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a customer, and she's like, "Hey, since you're into photography, would you be interested in taking headshots for my doctor's office?"
Okay.
And I remember saying, "Sure."
Yeah.
I'm doing research on how to do headshots. I'm
Right.
buying new equipment,
Right.
just trying to do what I can. And I never expected to get paid for it because I
Right.
never advertised it that way.
Right.
It was just me experimenting, having fun. Well, they ended up cutting me a check, and that's when I realized I was like, wait, I can get paid
Right.
doing this.
Right.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is fun, and I can get paid for it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of forced me to, study, practice.
Nice.
I never came
Self-taught
out
then.
of the gate and
Right.
was like, hey,
Right.
I want to charge for this. It's
Right.
I really needed to get good at it first.
Right.
Even up until recently, and a lot of artists struggle with this. What do you charge for certain things?
Sure.
Because everything is different.
Right.
And so,
And every case is different. I mean,
Correct.
We have that issue here when we're working with LDR Studios or Epiphany Storm, my production company.
Right.
That sort of feel like you have to find out what people are willing to pay.
right.
Too, right.
And it's art. So you never want to get lost in the price
Right.
point and you lose the magic.
Right. Exactly.
And then you are so focused on the number, you forget your purpose of what you're doing and why you got started.
okay.
But
And-
you want to get paid what you deserve. It is work. It
Absolutely.
is hard
You should
work.
definitely get paid for what you deserve.
Well, I don't like that term "deserve" because I think that gets. But you should get paid for your skill set. and
Well,
your
I say
effort and that sort of
deserve.
stuff.
I say deserve because you have put in the tiers. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
put in.
No. I understand where you're coming from. I just,
Yeah.
for me, it's I think you should get paid for your skill set.
There
or you
is
should get
value to what
their
service
value.
you
Yeah,
bring.
Right.
and what your level of skill and that sort of is.
There is, and there's also the part of you that you also have to take care of, and that's what I say
Right.
deserve. I'm not saying
No, I
other
get you.
people
Yeah.
need to do that, but you have to take care of yourself.
I think we're going into my psychological hangups here. Right.
I could talk all day about that.
You get,
so that's all
don't
good.
talk about my psychological.
So that was the other thing.
I already let that stuff sneak out on the show way too much already.
School was not for me.
No.
I did 2 years of psychology at IUPUI.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what? I like it. It's interesting.
Right.
But there was just something that was missing. I wasn't happy.
Right. So this was really basically for you was basically an interest that became a hobby, that became a part-time job, became now a full-time job.
Full-time job.
Right.
Correct.
That's an awesome. And how long from basically you deciding to go buy your first camera to now? I mean, how long is that progress from you to go?
It's been about 10 years.
Yeah,
Because
perfect.
it's coming up about 2 years now that I left my full-time job.
So
during the pandemic.
that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
At 2 years ago, you left your full-time job.
Yep.
Something happened about 2 years ago as well in the
I
global
think
community.
it was a global pandemic
There's
or
some
something
sort of
like
yeah.
that.
There was some sort of shutdown of
Something
some
like
kind.
that.
I don't know.
But yeah, being
Apparently,
closed
there
for-
were areas. So and during that period of time, you decide, I'm not going to do anything, and I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do this other thing.
Well, it was more of
The
we
term
were
is
off
cojones, right?
52 days. We were closed 52 days. And during that time, I was like, you know what? I can't take pictures of the weddings because they had
Right.
canceled. You know, we had the social distance order like in place,
Right.
so it's like we couldn't go out and take pictures.
And just you were not working at Starbucks at that time.
no, I was not
You
working
were
at
full
Starbucks.
times at another place. You were
Yep.
actually at a hair salon, I believe.
Yep, I
right?
was working for a hair salon, which
Right.
I'll get into that as well.
Oh, will you?
I will.
Because I was just going to ignore that. I was just
I'll
going
get
to
into
blow right
that.
through that. That's fine. But so the hair salons got shut down for 52 days.
Correct.
And they're fighting to come back, and there's all this social distancing rules. And then you decide, you know what? I'm not going to do that at all.
Well, it was more of I had time to apply the things that I've been wanting to apply because I loved my job.
Right.
You know, it was great. It put me in the music industry, which
Right.
led me to shooting concerts.
Correct.
I was in the beauty industry, which always needs photography.
Right.
I got to see a lot of behind the scenes.
And the way, just to, I'm sorry, I do this all the time. But the reason that you got involved in the music industry because the owners of that salon actually are also involved in the music industry from the management stuff.
That
Just for
was
anybody
one
who
of
knows. So
the
that's
yeah.
kinda cool.
That was one of the first concerts that I
Yeah.
got to shoot.
That's kinda
and
cool.
so it added to my which were the Dirty Hits.
Yeah. Oh,
which
nice.
added to my portfolio, and I was like,
Right.
oh, this is exciting. And then I had a radio station like pick me up, and they're like, hey, would you like to come shoot these shows?
That's awesome.
But I'll get into that as well.
Yeah,
but
we have some photos of actual musicians doing their thing that
We
you
do.
took pictures. That's
We
pretty
do.
cool.
But during that 52 days, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take pictures of something in the house
Right.
every single day, just no matter what it is.
Okay.
And so then I was like, all right, this is kind of boring. I'm not like getting anything from it. And so then I was like, you know, I'm going to adjust my website. I'm going to put in some ideas, implement some ideas that I've been working on.
Okay.
And I had the time to do it. And I was like, when would I ever take 52 days off of work
Right.
in my life? Not for vacation,
Never
not because
again.
like I'm healthy. It's like, I
Right.
never thought about it.
Right.
So during that time, I was like, oh, it only took me 2 weeks to get everything in order to launch my business like full time.
That's cool.
And so
Good for you,
going
man.
back to work, everything that kept us there and kept me there was stripped away.
Right.
Meaning we couldn't have people in, we had to social distance, we had to like clean, we had to cut everything in capacity.
Right.
And so, the joy and the spark wasn't there.
Right.
And you could tell, like for me, I was just like, my brain was like, oh my God, I've been like working on this photography thing and I want to go home and I can't wait to like,
Right.
stay up all night and like do this.
But then you took that leap,
And
man.
it started to show in my performance. And then I had to have the conversation of like, hey, yeah, this is like really tough for me. And
Right.
they're like, you know what? We think that this has been a long time coming for you. We want to support you and
That's
we wish
cool.
you well. Like, do it. And now I still work with them on doing like
You're
their
with
social
them,
media.
not for them.
Right.
Right.
And so like doing like their pictures and social media and things like that. So I still have that relationship.
That's awesome.
And the relationship is the reason that I stayed there and I
Right.
loved it because the
Right.
people are great. It's a great industry.
Nice.
And I learned a lot. So I still maintain that. And so I took that leap of faith.
So when you took that leap of faith, you went and you said you organized everything in about 2 weeks. So what was the business? Was it just Torrie Hudson photography and basically you're like fair game to do about anything? Or did you specifically go in a different direction? Or did you like try 3 different things and went, these are working, these aren't?
I tried a lot. Like one of them was just like, getting my website
Right.
in a way where it had a nice flow where people could go and kind of see what
And
I
that
offered.
website is TorrieHudson.com.
Nope, it is
Oh, it's not.
TorrieH.com.
TorrieH.com.
Yep, so TORRIE, letter H.com.
Awesome.
And so it made me realize like if I put in the time, I
Right.
can make anything happen. And when I was trying to do it part time and give little pieces up at a
Right.
time, I wasn't getting the results. It was
Right.
happening, but at a really slow scale.
Sure.
And so I just accelerated that. And so
Cool.
once I did that, it like just like took off.
Nice.
And then that's when I kind of fell into the food thing because I always liked cooking
Okay.
and had a passion for it. And again, had nothing to take pictures of.
Right.
So I started taking pictures of
Food. Right.
Like my dinners I was making at home.
Right.
We
And
still need to have the wing competition.
oh, we totally have to. We have to because I've been
do.
practicing and they're down.
So Clark, you do wings a particular way?
Yes, I got my thing.
They're
Are
good.
they?
They're definitely good.
Are they good?
They're good.
Well, yours are better?
Here's the
Ooh.
deal. Here's the deal about this comparison thing.
Who's gonna
There
judge
is-
this? That's what I want to know.
Here's the thing about comparison. I've been
Okay.
working on this with people, especially in the art world.
Okay.
Like the comparison thing, we need to stop that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because we like things for different reasons.
Correct.
And
But
not
this is a
necessarily one is
food competition.
Yeah, but food competition, I think, is fine. I mean,
I mean,
competition's fine. But I agree
Yeah,
with you. I think
but it just
ultimately
leads
it's-
into like a really
hey,
good segue because that's something that I very hone on when it comes to supporting other
Right,
artists
that's
and
what I'm saying.
creatives.
Be
Yeah.
supportive, right?
Yep.
It's
More than anything, I think we should both make wings and sit around and eat them together.
Yes.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
I like that.
We should eat them in your Foodoir.
In my Foodoir?
I don't know what I did.
I was like, I don't know if you can
Okay.
eat in my Foodoir.
Okay, so I just said Foodoir because that's a thing.
is a
Explain
thing.
what Foodoir is,
So,
since we're talking about photos of food.
right. So if you've heard of boudoir,
I have.
think of Foodoir.
Yeah,
What do you think of when you hear that?
the sexy food.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Sexy food.
So food.
But your boudoir is like the bedroom, right?
Right.
So your foudoir would be like where you
Sexy
have
kitchen.
sexy kitchen.
yeah,
Sexy
sexy
kitchen.
kitchen private time.
Sexy kitchen private time.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Is
could
that
eat
a
food in
hashtag?
bed too.
It's about to be.
So what's that, Clark?
I said you could have food in bed too, so it'd be a Foodoir.
Boudoir.
I mean, you can, but eating in the room's a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who's like, don't make me breakfast in bed.
Don't make me breakfast.
Don't make
in
me
bed?
breakfast
Yeah,
in
you
bed.
like
I'd freak
crumbs?
out.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it's- okay.
I don't.
So foudoir. So anyway, that's what comes to mind. Sexy food.
Yeah. So, and
And you started taking pictures of sexy food,
it came about because I had taken a picture holding a burger,
Yes.
like in my hand,
which we have this photo.
because I had some friends over.
Yes.
We had like our pod of people that would come over
Right.
during the pandemic. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an experience, a restaurant experience that we can have. So we
Okay.
had like tequila outside and wings and burgers and just made it a thing.
Right.
Well, I took this picture. Well, the local butcher shop, Joe's Butcher Shop,
Nice.
saw the picture, and Joe contacted me himself. He was like, hey, I really love that photo. I love what you're doing. How can I get more of this?
Right.
And then from there on, I started a partnership with like Joe's Butcher Shop.
Right. So now they provide you with meat,
Correct. Yep.
and you take photos.
They are my
cooking
meat
it
supplier.
before. Yeah, that's nice.
They're my meat supplier.
That's kind of cool, right?
So yeah, and so it just
And so-
opened up like all these different doorways.
But Foodoir is a blog, right, for
Correct.
you, and it's a blog. I mean, we've kind of talked around it a little bit, but it's a blog post. Where do we
It's,
see this blog? It's photos of food.
Yep. And you can go
Provocative.
TorrieH.com/foodwire.
There you go.
So it's on there, and
these are regular posts, or you kind of
I
run a
post
series?
most of it like to my social media, like my Instagram.
Okay. Which
Because
is?
it's more of a brand than like a blog.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it's like almost like an umbrella, like a little side thing
Yeah.
that I have
Oh,
where
that's kinda cool.
it falls into like that category.
All right.
And that's the other thing, like this whole photography thing. It takes me like all over these places. So I like to say I go where the passion is.
Okay.
So one day I could be taking pictures of meat. One day
Right.
I could be taking pictures of Doja Cat. So
Okay.
it like goes like wherever.
And sometimes you're going to do weddings.
Sometimes I'll do weddings.
Sometimes you're going to go take pictures of. Okay, so I'm actually leading that up. So you actually have gone some places here physically, like your photography has taken.
Yes.
People hire you and say, "Hey, we want you to take pictures of this, but we're in California, we're in Cancun, we're somewhere else."
Yep.
Right.
So-
We're on the road, whatever it is.
Yep.
And they pick you up and they go. And you've had a couple of these experiences. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the first one that happened, someone found me on Instagram.
Nice.
And-
which is your Instagram?
It's Torrie Hudson. So TORRIE Hudson, like the river.
Yeah. Cool.
But someone had found me. She Studio Spice. She has
Studio Spice.
has a spice company, and she friended me, and she would like comment. It's like, oh, this looks really good. And then she's like, hey, can I send you some like free samples of my
Right.
like spice? I haven't launched it yet, but I want you to try it.
Right.
It's like, sure. And so I was like taking pictures along with like like I normally do.
Right.
And she's like, what do I have to do to get you out here?
Right.
And I said, just ask, fly me out there.
Fly me out, yeah.
We'll do it. And then she said, okay.
So-
and
and
2
you
weeks
went-
later, I was on a plane to Long Beach, California,
And you're
shooting
taking
spices.
pictures of her spices for her
Yeah.
her launch and her campaign, the
Yep.
social media, and you
So
did all
for
that sort of stuff.
website, and then during that time, like I formed like a really great relationship.
That's cool.
And then she's like sending me spices, and then she's like, "Hey, I'm doing this new launch," and we actually
Right.
did a live video during the holiday for her holiday launch.
That's awesome.
So we did like a whole like live photo shoot, and she sent them to me. She's explaining to her in her kitchen in California. I'm here in Indianapolis,
Okay.
doing my thing. So
That's cool.
it was just a neat experience, and that opened up my eyes, and
Nice.
it made me believe that not only can this happen for me, but it can happen for other people.
Right.
And how can I teach that to other
That's
people?
cool.
And that's why I get to like, I really want to support other creatives and other people who feel like they're stuck.
Right.
Because you don't have to be.
Yeah, I get stuck a lot.
But you don't have to be.
No,
which
I
is why
don't
you're
have
here.
to be.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't
And
have
we
to
all
be.
do it.
Get stuck a lot.
We all do it.
This little thing we're doing here kind of unstuck you, Byron.
It definitely unstuck me. Went through. We talk about the pandemic and all that sort of
Right.
stuff, and I was just like depressed and angry at the world. And
I mean, that's
I had
you
a bunch
and
of,
all of us.
Yeah, but it was a situation where it was like, I do all these creative things and I'm trying to put this stuff out there, whether it's videos or short films, or I was
Yeah.
working on a feature film at the time.
Yep.
And that whole thing just shut everything down. And I was just like, man, screw the world.
Yeah.
They don't deserve my stuff.
Yep.
And
It-
literally, that's how I felt about it. And now I'm like, then Clark's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. You want to come in? And I'm like, hey. And now all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I'm going to do all this
because
crap.
you are feeding your soul, and that's
I
what
am.
people
Thank
need
you,
to
Clark.
do.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
thanks, Clark,
That
for
is
feeding my soul.
what we all need to do.
That's
and once I
awesome.
feel like because money doesn't motivate me. It helps and it's great, we need it.
Right.
But if you tell me like, hey, Torrie, here's $1 million.
Right.
Do this.
Right.
I probably won't move as fast if you say, hey, Torrie, here
Is
is
this cool?
10 years of like going wherever you want to go and traveling the world and like explaining what you're doing and helping other people.
Right.
That is more motivating to
Yeah,
me.
we didn't give you $1 million. Come on here, did we?
I mean, it was close.
It was
but-
close. That's great.
Yeah.
No, that's funny.
Somewhere between 0 and $1 million.
Somewhere between
Right.
0 and $1 million. So you also still do some of these other photos, right? So you actually took a trip down to, I believe it was Cancun.
Yes. So
How did that go?
So again, I had someone reach out.
Okay.
And she is a motivational speaker. She's an author, and she had 7 other co-authors
Okay.
for a book.
For a book.
And so the whole point is like go on a retreat, take care of yourself.
Right.
They all collectively get together. Well, she wanted someone to document that and
So
for her
cool.
brand. So I was
Nice.
like, sure, I'd
That
love to do
sounds
it.
awesome. Yeah.
So my best friend and assistant and I, we flew there, and we were there for maybe 22 hours.
Yeah. And
Before
taking a lot
I
of
was
photos?
on a flight back home because we had to run from hurricanes.
Yeah. Plural?
Yeah, there were
were
two,
two
There were
hurricanes
two
coming down?
hurricanes like coming.
So you literally go down for a photo shoot for this cool retreat down in Cancun at a thing, and there's a bunch of ladies, I guess, right?
Yep.
A bunch of ladies who wrote this book, and they're all going to have this empowerment thing. You're going to photograph it. Everybody's feeling great, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you have to leave."
Yeah. So that
now."
night we got a letter underneath the
Door.
door, and it said, "Hey, you probably want to think about departing soon because of tropical storms." And then I'm like, "Oh, it's just a little storm. Like
Right.
I love storms. Like I love
Sure.
rain or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll make the best out of it. That's
Sure.
just me." And I was like, maybe they just want you to leave so because you won't get the full experience.
Yeah.
And so bypass it. Went to dinner
And you're like,
that
"Yeah,
night.
there'll be a lot of photos of
We got up
wind-blown
at
hair."
7:00 in the morning, getting
Right.
ready for the shoot. By 8:00, we're on the beach doing
Right.
photos, and she goes inside to change clothes,
Right.
and we see this guy. He's like pissed. He goes, "What are you guys doing at 4:00?" And I was like, "Pardon me? Like, excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah, they're shutting the whole place down at 4:00 due to hurricanes coming in." And I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "And it's my damn anniversary. This is bullshit." And I'm like, "Just a second, sir."
Hold on.
So I go to the front desk and I ask, and I was like, "So, excuse me." I was like, "What's happening?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, we're shutting down. You can go home or you can go to a shelter." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
She was like, "It's schools and they're kind of prepared for it. They have cots, they have water, they have sandwiches." And I'm like, "I didn't come to Mexico to stay in a shelter, so I'm gonna go home."
Yeah.
So-
you were able to get a flight.
So immediately I get on the phone, I call Delta, and at the time it was like that first year of the pandemic.
Right.
So they had all the middle rows like blocked off.
Right.
And so they were able to like open those middle rows
Just to
for
get you out
everyone
of a
to get people in
hurricane.
there.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
we get to the airport and we wait 3.5 hours
Wow.
in line just to check our bags.
Because
And
everybody's fleeing.
you got to
right?
remember you're in Mexico, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot of English, speakers that
Right.
are happening. You're trying to go through customs,
Right.
and so nobody knows like where the line is, and it's just like it's insane. So by this time, we made friends with people like in line,
Right.
And we get to the front, and the lady she gets us checked. She was like, "Hey, you're gonna go through the entrance of the employees and run." And I like look at her, and she goes, "Run." And so we have to like book it like the whole way, and our flight was supposed to leave.
Why
like,
did you have to run? Because you had to catch the plane.
we got to catch our plane because our flight was
Seriously?
already. By the time we got to check our bags, just to check our bags, we haven't been through security, anything. Our plane should have been gone 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
But because there were 50 people who hadn't boarded yet, they had held it back. So everybody was kind of in the same boat. So we get home.
So did you when you like to run on the tarmac through the
Oh, yeah,
the
it was-
rain and everything? And
It was a beautiful day.
Oh, okay.
That's the crazy
It
thing.
hadn't landed yet.
It hadn't landed yet. By the time we were taking off on the plane, everything had gotten. It was gray. It was black.
Okay.
Like it was coming in. So we got
It's
home.
like one of those movie shots where you're taking off the plane. And the storm's
Exactly. I
following
mean, that's
you.
exactly what happened. And so we get
Sounds
home.
terrifying.
Oh, it was. So I had to like call my mom and say, "Hey," because she was house sitting for me. And I had to call her and say, "Hey, pick us up at the airport at 10 p.m. tonight. Everything's fine. I'll see you soon."
Right.
And she goes, "What's going on?" Because she likes to ask a lot of questions. I'm like, "Mom, it's fine. We're just coming home early."
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell her. And she like freaks out until I got
Right.
home. And so she goes, "Why'd you guys come home so early?" I was like, "Hurricanes."
Hurricanes.
And she goes, "What?" I was like, "We're
What?
here. We're safe. We're
Everybody's-
good."
Yeah, good. That's awesome. Moms.
And so
moms are good, right?
we got home and we saw on the news the next day how many people were like stuck or like just showed up to the airport and they closed the airport. All the hotels were full. People spent like thousands of dollars like to try to get home. So
Right.
it's one of those things where you look back and you like thank the universe.
Right.
For I'm like thankful how everything's played out. Like
cool.
I'm not gonna.
Isn't that where you lost your badass head?
That was the second trip.
Oh, so there's a second. There's a
There's
second
a second
trip. There's
trip.
a follow up.
So we did a follow up. We did a follow up a year later.
Okay.
And the resort that we were on, they ended up like doing like a remodel, and so we
Okay.
got to go to this brand new resort, and it was beautiful.
That must have been terrible.
Oh, it was so terrible.
Brand new, yeah,
It was
brand new
bad.
resort. Yeah.
It was horrible. But yeah, I did. I had a couple drinks, and we're standing out on the deck on the beach, and next thing you know, the wind comes and blows my awesome hat into the water.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We'll if you go to Torrie Hudson's Instagram page, you will see plenty of photos of said hat. I don't have
hat.
any. We don't have any photos of those here,
yeah,
but we do.
People recognize me because of the hat.
That's-
So there was a point where I stopped wearing it for a little bit because I'm like, people only like me because of this hat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Is
the,
that
it's
it?
the
People
signature.
only like you 'cause
they
of
only
the
like
hat?
me because of the hat.
I
They
don't
like
know.
the hat.
Maybe I need a hat so people like me. I
Try
don't
it.
know. I don't know. What do you think, Clark?
Well, you
No?
got 3 people here that like you.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, man. For people that don't know, beyond Tori and Clark, I guess the third person's Will, who's helping us out here. Are you intern Will? Engineer Will? He can't. I don't know why I asked him a question because we're not going to be able to hear his answer. He's shaking his head at everything I told him,
Nice.
so that's good. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So you got to do that other.
So we got to do it again. It was fantastic.
That's
I got
cool.
to spend 5 days in Mexico taking pictures of some like.
And did you have any other
Cool
crazy
women.
trips that that photography has taken you on?
Let's see, I got to go to
Already?
DC.
You got to DC.
Yep,
Okay.
I went to DC for the first time. It was my first time ever going.
Okay,
Like I wanted
that's
to go, and I was like, it's cool. My parents couldn't afford it, so
Right.
it was one of those things I finally got to do.
Yeah, nice.
Let's see. There's been DC, California. There's been Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Talk about that.
That's
later.
a different thing. Yeah,
that's a different thing. We can
that's
talk
not for
about that
photos,
one.
is
Yeah.
it?
No.
All right, we'll let's stick with the
Yeah.
photos. I'm gonna pop a photo up here on the screen.
Cool.
And then you're gonna tell me what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Sure.
So here we go. That's
That is Dave Grohl.
that is Dave Grohl.
That
and
is
he's in the
Dave
middle of-
Grohl.
he's in the middle of playing.
That was a badass concert.
That is-
It was.
That's crazy.
So I became a Foo Fighters fan probably 1998. I believe
know how-
1998.
I don't know how people do that. Like I was like a Foo Fighters fan somewhere in the late '90s. That's me. Like you're like 1998. I don't. People do that.
Well, I do it because I remember the video, Fear
Okay.
of Flying.
Okay,
And
yeah,
so I
yeah.
remember like watching that,
Learning to
and I was
fly?
like, oh my god, like
Oh,
this is like
funny. Good.
really cool and interesting. And even like black culture,
Right.
you're not introduced to a lot of like rock music, just culturally.
Yeah,
you know?
wow.
And so
Cool.
watching VH1 like MTV, it
Right.
piqued my interest like in
Okay.
like, different types of music.
Yeah.
And I remember like being obsessed with them. It's like they're really cool.
They're really
this
cool.
is
All right.
awesome.
Wait, they used to have music videos on MTV?
They
Yeah,
did
that's
back in the day.
apparently.
Right?
Apparently, the M meant music. Who knew?
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely sparked my interest. And so when I started going to concerts and I fell in like concert photography,
Right.
they were one of the people that were going to be coming.
You want to know what's really sad? That's one of the few concerts I have not seen the Foo Fighters in concert.
Oh,
it's
my
on my
goodness.
bucket list.
Well, I have
Like,
lots
for
of
what-
pictures, so if
like-
you want to live through it.
I've always, yeah, that's cool. But I've always like, whenever they're in town, I'm out of town for whatever reason.
Yeah, I've
It's
been to
like
2
for
of
the
their
last
shows.
10 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that's an awesome picture.
So yeah, that was that's really funny because actually it got sweat on and water thrown on me from
You got-
Dave Grohl like
yeah.
doing that because he's got crazy and he just like threw water on him because he's like sweating.
Right.
And he starts like throwing his hair and
it
got
got
me
all over
wet,
you.
got the camera wet.
I don't know.
But,
Did
yeah.
you save that? Because apparently
I did not. I don't
eBay
care.
that or
Try to
something?
sell it on eBay.
See it on eBay?
Right.
No? Okay.
But I do have a giant photo of this.
So you
at
took
home.
this photo you took in the
did.
background?
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. It's like this black and white kind of cool deal. For those on the listening to Just a Straight podcast, I go to the Soon to Be Legends Instagram and Facebook pages, and I will have these photos up so you can scroll through them as we listen. So here's the next one. This is
Doja Cat.
Doja Cat.
Yeah.
I like. Oh, by the way, also in the corner, it's torrieh.com, just to remind everybody. So that's good.
Just a
I like-
reminder.
no, I like it. It's
Yeah.
good.
So yeah,
That's what we're here for, right?
That's Doja Cat. So that was for the National Football Championship. So that was the Alabama-Georgia game.
Nice.
That was happening here.
Okay.
And I had been hired to shoot the convention and the concerts.
Nice.
And so part of it was Doja Cat was the headliner.
Yeah.
So you also have to be there for the rest of the people.
Right.
So there was a bomb threat that day.
Jeez.
During that bomb threat, it started sleeting and then icing where the
This was
entire
in
roads.
January, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So you're walking around downtown and you see everyone just like slipping and sliding. You're like, what the hell is going on? And then you step on the pavement and you see oh, it's slippery. So yeah, waited outside. There were people waiting for about 7 hours, like
come
for
see
to come
her?
see her.
So do you ever go on a normal photo shoot where
No.
like nothing happens?
That's no fun. That's no fun. Yeah, the senior photos. That's why we're
Right.
not talking about those.
Yeah, that's why I charged $1,000 for those.
So this is a picture of Doja Cat. I'm definitely now a fan.
Yeah, it's 12 degrees. What you don't see is 12 degrees outside.
Right.
It's snowing and sleeting.
And she has like a
And she has
bikini
nothing
top
on. I'm in a poncho. I'm covered from head to toe. I'm wearing boot warmers,
Right.
hand warmers. I have hot chocolate in my pocket.
Honestly, okay, so I'm joking about that because she's like a bare midriff wearing a bikini top. I joke about that, but honestly, that shows you what kind of professionals these are, right?
Right.
Because that's the brand she's selling, and she's got
Exactly.
to do it when it's 12 degrees out.
And she was moving nonstop.
yeah.
So when you're moving and grooving and you're having a good time,
That's
you know,
cool.
nothing matters. That's the thing. When you get in the zone, like nothing matters.
Good for her. Oh, I guess I'm a fan now. I don't know. Ha, next. All right, who we got?
So we got Rachel Price here. So Rachel
Rachel?
Price is from one of my very, 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 very favorite bands, Lake Street Dive.
Lake Street Dive.
Lake
I've
Street
not
Dive.
heard.
So,
Where are they from? Where are they located?
so they all met in music school in
Okay.
Maryland, and so they one at McDuck. He's gone since then, but I came across a video of them on Reddit,
Okay.
and they were doing a Michael Jackson cover
Okay.
of "Want You Back," and they're just on the street like singing or whatnot, and it's like
Nice.
she has this amazing voice, like just soulful, and it's different than anything I've ever heard.
Okay.
And so there's an upright bass player, trumpet player, drummer,
Okay.
and her. And so phenomenal voice. And I've been to a few of their shows. Like every time they come to the area, I've went to Chicago to see
So
them.
this is one of you. So this you're a fan of her and this band before you do the photography, and now you
Yes.
have an opportunity to not only go to the show but get to go to the show as a photographer
Right.
to do these shots.
I had already bought my ticket for the show when they announced the concert, and then I learned how concert photography works.
Right.
So then I knew who to reach out to
And
say
they
like,
said,
"Hey,
yeah, it's
can I do
cool.
this show?" And they're
That's
like,
awesome.
"Well, it's way too early to tell because like we have all this going on." I was like, "Okay," but when it comes time, like I want to know. So every month I'm like calling,
right
and checking.
And you
in
basically
checking
get a
in.
press pass and everything to go
Yeah.
do that and that sort of stuff.
You get
Yep.
3 songs, then you got to get out of the pit.
Yep.
Is that how it works?
Exactly.
Still?
Exactly.
And
Okay.
where this show was,
By the way, just Clark knows this. Clark also has done some of these photography.
Yes,
and his stuff's
exactly.
pretty cool too.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I've met some really cool other photographers like in the pit, like at a lot of these
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, it's fun.
Which is
Yeah.
that's my very first when I shot the Imagine
So
Dragons.
Did you step into the pit and try to love someone?
Well,
No, that's
here's the deal.
Sorry, that's a Kid Rock reference. My bad.
It's funny because I met a photographer who was 9 months pregnant shooting
Really? Oh,
Imagine Dragons,
That's
and I was like,
cool.
"So when are you due?" And she's like, "Yesterday," and I was like, "Oh,
great.
okay."
My
cool.
water
I was like, "I
broke.
love it."
That's awesome. That's cool.
Dedication to her craft.
You
for
could
sure.
do your own little podcast of stories from the pit, right?
Oh,
Well, that-
totally. Even here, like this is at the Vogue, and they're
Right.
like, "You can go to the pit." The pit is literally
Like
right here,
a foot and a half wide.
where I was like too close.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if I can smell your perfume, I'm
Oh, really?
way too close.
Yeah.
Like it's neat, but I also want to ruin the show for other people. And
Right.
being 6'4",
Yeah, you're tall. So
You
You have
know,
a tendency of getting
I gotta
people's
be
way.
right. I've pissed off a lot of people at some of these shows.
yeah. Why? You're such
I
an
was like,
awesome
I don't know.
dude.
Right.
I don't get it.
I'm like, it's only 3 songs, people.
Tori,
Like,
yeah,
I'll
just
move.
relax, and then they're like, yeah,
And-
but then some other jackwad's gonna be in here, right?
Well, depending on like how it's set up, I love to give people like my spot. So if I'm in a spot and like there's like a little kid or somebody
Right.
who's like shorter, I'm like, hey, step up here because
That's
you can
cool.
stand in front of me and I can still get the shots that I need.
Nah, you're a good guy.
Yeah, everybody's here to have a good time, and these people
cool.
have paid for these shows.
Sure, yeah.
So they want to be able to experience it. And I hate like people looking at my back the whole time.
That's cool. Yeah, because the front's the moneymaker. Is that
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. Ooh, this is. We have now moved from concert stuff into just people, right?
Right.
So your photography, we're going through this is people and
It's people, art, food. So
people, art, food.
a lot of time people ask me, what kind of photographer are you? And I used to say like, go down like the whole spiel. And I'm like, that spiel's like way too long.
Right.
And so it's like people, art, food.
People, art, food, and
And
this,
it varies.
I would say is a combo of people and art.
It is. It is. So this is my dear friend Lauren, who is like phenomenal. She's actually battling cancer right now, and she's like overcoming it, and she's
Nice. Good
being
for her.
strong. Her and her family.
Lauren Strong.
Yep, Lauren Strong. But we were doing these photos in her basement to promote hair extensions.
Okay.
And she like this is probably very early into like my like getting into like the hair industry.
Okay.
Like playing around.
Right.
We had like the lights set up. Well, one of my flashes did not go off.
Okay.
Like the trigger didn't go off.
Yeah, so
And so I got this
photo is
awesome shot.
Yeah, this photo of her like swooping her hair around
Yeah.
and do that sort of stuff, and it's only like basically backlit.
Yep. And so my light up front did not fire.
Right. That's
And so I did the rest of the shoot like this, and that's how I like got the shot. It's like I really like that lighting.
it's kind of cool.
So early on, like it taught me how to like play around with like some like different lighting techniques, and
Nice.
not everything needs to be lit. Kind of keeping things like a little mysterious
Isn't that
without
awesome
showing
how
everything.
an accident, kind of like the happy accident, makes
That is
for a
my
cooler-
entire career. Like
Your
that's
entire
how I
career is
am
a
here
hap-
today.
Yeah, no, I mean, like anytime you do a creative project, if you don't give room for those happy accidents to
Right.
happen, you're going to miss some really awesome stuff, and that's an awesome story
Exactly.
for how we got that.
Yep.
That's so cool.
And
More-
so I have this printed like in my living room as well.
Yeah,
because
so-
it's like definitely one of my
yeah,
favorites.
so you're like, yeah, I like my own stuff.
I love my own stuff.
That's awesome.
Like if nobody's gonna love it, I'm gonna love it.
I like my own stuff too.
Yeah.
I just
And
force
there's-
everybody else to look at
There's
it.
some other people up there. It's for
Nice.
you. It's for you.
That's
It's not.
cool.
It's no big deal. But I love
Cool.
it.
So more people art.
More people are. So this is Lindsay. Lindsay and I work together at the salon, and Lindsay is my height.
Is she really?
She's my
Like,
height, especially when she wears heels. She's a little
Okay.
taller than me.
Wow.
And
She's
so
flipping her hair around.
she has like this beautiful like curly hair, and we actually did a video of this process of her getting her hair like colored, and we were like all working.
Yeah,
At this
so-
point. So this isn't like a photo shoot that we're like, hey, like come here, we're gonna plan this like photo shoot
purple
day.
and blue, red hair.
I happen to turn around and she's getting her hair colored.
Okay.
And so I'm like, have my camera, I'm like videoing the process. And when she's finished, I'm like, hey, come stand over here in front of like this light.
Right.
And I was like, toss your hair back and forth. Let's like have fun.
Right.
And she did it. And so we're both working a shift.
Oh,
like,
you
during
literally, this
time.
is while you're working
Yeah.
at the salon.
And she had just like finished working. And so she was getting her hair done.
That's hilarious.
And so it's just like, oh, the light looks good. Your hair looks good. Like, let's just make something happen.
That's awesome.
And that's how I love creating art. 'Cause
Right. It's another
sometimes-
happy accident kind
It
of
is.
thing, right? It's like, hey, this looks something's happened
Yeah,
here.
something's here.
capture that.
Let's do it.
That's
and
awesome.
not everything needs to be planned or like let's plan the shoot and like
Right.
get all the cameras and the lights, and those things are great. I
Yeah,
love
'cause you
doing
gotta do that too
because
sometimes,
you have
yeah.
fun, but also take advantage of like the opportunities that you have.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That's awesome. And that was really even before this whole. So I actually just popped in my head. Do you touch these up to a lot?
Not a
little?
lot.
No,
not a lot.
You do some Photoshop work,
I
obviously.
do
We'll see
some.
of that
So
here
there's
now,
I
right?
have a love hate with like Photoshop. So there are times where you'll see some of my digital art in here.
Sure.
Where it's like versus digital art versus photography.
Right,
or, like
okay.
in the moment. But typically like if I need to clean up like the backdrop. The
Right.
backdrop was originally like a gray wall
Right.
or something. So I just like
So you
made
kinda-
that pink to kind of
kinda-
like balance it out or whatnot.
It's got a kind of a lavender hue to it, so
Right.
It actually complements.
But
the
if
hair
you were to
better.
see this or
Right.
see her, you would see that exact same thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Nice. And moving on to here is an alley,
That is the city hallways is what I call it.
the city hallway.
City hallways.
Right.
And it's funny because I had
Did you do a series of these?
I did.
Of
I
like
did.
city hallways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And this is in Indianapolis.
yep, it's right
Okay.
off the circle behind Starbucks.
And the circle is downtown in Indianapolis, and there's a monument to celebrating war of some kind.
Yep, I have another one of Salesforce that looks really cool, and I
that's
think
cool.
they'll probably want to buy it from me if they see it.
That's cool. Nice. No, good luck.
But this one, I had an amateur photographer reach out.
Okay.
And he wanted to just kind of get into it, play around with some stuff.
Okay.
And normally I do people, art, food stuff.
Right.
And so rarely I would take pictures of like landscapes or just like things that didn't breathe. And so I was asking him, like, what do you want to do? And he goes, maybe just like walk around, like snap some pictures, like
Okay.
talk, ask you some questions. I'm like, sure. So it was a little challenging for me as well.
Right. So to be the teacher, I mean, here's a guy who like self-taught, didn't go to school for this, and now having people reach out to you to
Correct.
teach them how to do it.
Yep.
God, that's got to be satisfying.
Yeah, it was great. And so I was like, all right, sure. So we walked around and I was like, you know what? I'm going to see some awesome pictures. I'm sure there's something I can get. So I'm like
Sure.
snapping some things. I got snapped this photo.
Right.
Well, I snap photos from this angle and like a different angle.
Right.
And then I take a couple more of them like up. But I really appreciate lines
Okay.
and geometry, like in any kind of like
And
art
when you're looking at
photos
it,
or whatnot.
yeah, a road or an alley, that'll do that. Yeah.
And so, because if he wanted to explore, it forced me to get out of my comfort zone as well.
That's cool.
And I got this awesome piece. And I actually
That's
just
awesome.
sold this piece.
Did you
recently.
really?
I did, yeah.
Nice. Because you do art shows. Now, you
I
take
do.
these photographies and you have pop-up art shows,
I do.
which I've
Uh-huh.
been to, and you also have some other art shows and do some interesting stuff.
Yep.
So
And I have
that's
an
cool.
online store as well.
Have an online store.
It's called Buy My Shit.
Is it called? That's awesome.
Because it's up front. It's being
That's
honest.
right,
It's like, hey, buy my
Hey,
shit.
Hey, buy my shit. And
Yeah.
we can get through that with Torrie.
Yep. You'll see it on there. It's on the online
It's
store
the
on my
buy
website.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So people can actually purchase. So somebody else can purchase this now. That's not a one of a kind.
They can't.
piece,
So
right?
I'm only printing 10 of each.
Oh, okay.
and so
So
they're
you're
all
doing
labeled and
limited
everything.
series.
Yep.
Okay. And are they numbered or
They
you
are.
just okay?
Yep.
Are you autographing
sign
them? You
I
them?
sign them. I initial them and
initial?
sign them. Yep.
Okay. So that's good.
Yeah.
Added value, folks.
Exactly.
It's definitely a value add. I like that, and I love the fact that you have you're promoting the alleyways the wonderful downtown Indianapolis, and no one is living there, no one is sleeping there, no one is peeing at the
During
time.
that
This
time,
is great.
right.
Yeah, this is excellent.
Look how blue the sky is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sunny day.
It was a gorgeous day. Gorgeous.
Yeah, that's cool.
And again, like it forced me because I had the day off work.
Right.
And normally I'm like, what can I do? I'll do something
Right,
else.
right.
But I turned my phone off,
Okay.
and we literally walked around downtown for 5 hours,
That's awesome.
just like snapping pictures and getting
That's
in
cool.
the zone.
Folks, every now and then turn your phone off. I think
Yes.
that's a really good
I
idea.
put my phone in focus mode.
focus mode
once a day.
With, like, that's what we're doing here. We're all in focus mode.
Like it's
Just-
fantastic.
that's how this show is so awesome.
Yep.
This show's awesome. We all put our phone on.
We're
focus mode
staring
and
at
we're
each other.
We're locked in. We're like, man, this is going to be awesome.
Yes.
All right, so now we're moving on to this guy.
Yes, I will feed all you fuckers.
Yes. Bring
Good
food.
thing, hey, but good thing the video is listed as explicit, so we
Right.
can do that. Yeah, so we're
So this is a hilarious photo. First off, so that's the actual burger that I was holding in
burger
my
day?
hand,
yeah.
and I just like took it and photoshopped, a bunch of them or whatnot.
So this is more of the digital
From
art
the
we were talking
dinner
about.
This
party.
is like it's from the dinner party.
The
Yep.
dinner party earlier. This was the photo you were talking about, and then you have turned this into a funky digital art for your Foodoir.
I did. So Amplify Hot Sauce is ran by my 3 of my good friends. So Jared Minkler, Jake Anderson, and Jake Burgess.
Shout out.
Yep. Shout out
Nice.
Fox
Hey,
Family, Fox Garden, all that.
Amplify smoked pepper sauce.
Yes.
Now, did you do that for a promo for them, or did you do it because they're buddies of yours and they're using this stuff? Or
Both.
And you also cook
And that
with this?
goes back to like having like relationships.
Yeah.
So I did a campaign for them, and
Nice.
so a lot of times it's hard to come up with things like on the fly.
Right.
So I work a little differently when I tell clients like, hey, if you want to do something, like let's talk about it, let's figure it
Okay.
out. It may take some time because I want it to be authentic,
Right.
And I want it to be real and
Sure.
come from places, and sometimes things can't be rushed. So one day I was like sitting and I'm like just doodling, playing around with like
Okay.
ideas, and I was like, what's something fun? And so I got like these series of like aprons.
Okay.
And this company like had seen my humor. They're like, we're gonna send you some stuff because we like your sense of humor. And so they sent me a bunch of aprons.
So they say so. This is that, and that was separate from
That was
doing
separate,
this.
yeah.
So you didn't like have an idea and then have these aprons printed. You already had an apron company with prints
Yes.
these silly slogans,
Right.
Which is like rub my meat or something. What's another one
Yes,
I
like I like my pork
Pull my
pulled and
pork.
my butt
pull my
roast.
pork and rub my butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I've seen that one too. So you and they sent you this stuff.
They
and
did.
you were like, oh hey, I'm going to incorporate it into this
Right.
Amplify sauce.
Yeah,
So-
and so it's like this is like literally like me, like
well,
at home.
Let's shout out that who's the apron company?
It's Untamed Ego.
Untamed Ego.
Untamed
There you
Ego.
go.
So they make funny
throw-
mugs. They make like all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, they sent me these
We'll
aprons.
have to tag them in this or something.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
Cool.
But yeah, I was like, what makes sense? Like I was going through like a whole burger phase last year,
Okay.
preparing for Burger Day and like Burger Month.
Is that a thing? That's a thing?
It's a thing. It's a thing.
What month is Burger Month?
Oh, don't quote me, but I know May 27th is National Burger Day.
Oh, next
okay.
week.
So next
Yeah.
week.
So next week is
It's
Burger
not
Day.
next week. It's 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
yesterday.
we edit. Yeah. Jeez.
Whoops.
Oops.
Well,
All right.
National Burger
This
Day.
isn't live, folks. Just so you know.
National Burger Day is May 27th.
Right, May 27th. Boy, that was a good day. That was a good one.
I
Yeah,
remember
it was
eating that cheeseburger I made on National Burger Day.
National Burger Day.
But yeah,
There's more Amplify sauce.
then more amplified hot sauce. So I didn't post the picture, but you can find it on my social media. So I thought it'd be hilarious to make Tidy Josephs because we've all heard of Sloppy Joes. So it's
Okay.
like,
So
what about Tidy Josephs? So I
Tidy
made like these like
Josephs?
little tiny
Burgers.
sliders, like Sloppy Joes essentially,
Right.
but they were like really neat.
Like
And
Joe
then-
Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
And so I decided to get a little crazy and turn them into Sloppy Joes, and literally had a setup in my kitchen with a backdrop,
Right.
my camera, and a
made those,
strobe,
that
and I'm
was
just
in
like throwing sauce like all over the place.
And so so here's the Amplify sauce being thrown around. So this is more of an art piece with the Foodoir as opposed to digital art.
Right.
Of photography.
Right. So all of this is legit, like straight out the camera.
So this is no touch up here. This
This
is just
is like
straight,
maybe some lighting stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's like
sure.
straight out the camera.
What were your camera settings to get the slow?
there's Clark trying to get into the
right.
secrets.
So for this one, I think I had my shutter speed set for maybe like 400.
Okay.
Maybe
yeah,
I
okay.
had f-stop set for maybe like f10, and I also had a strobe powered probably about 600s.
Folks, this is the deep dive
Yeah.
into photography. Man. This is it. This is the nuts and bolts of how this goes down.
Yeah, just like one strobe, just,
Yeah, that's cool.
And I like to do things like I said, being a minimalistic like person where
Right.
you never know when you have to travel.
Right.
You never know like when you may want to get something. You don't want to have to like a whole setup.
Right.
To have to like
Right.
get it.
Clark's a real minimalist too.
That's hard to
No,
believe.
it's hard to believe.
That's hard to
If
believe.
anyone who wants to come to LDR Studios for a production of any kind, Clark's got pretty much anything you'll ever need.
Yeah.
Literally, like stacks of racks of
Literally have
cameras.
used everything in here.
No, I'm not saying that you haven't used
I
it.
mean,
I'm
this
just saying
is
for
like
anyone who wants
my-
to do a production,
my dream.
This is
Like-
this is the place to do it.
Like I just
it's got
bought
the stuff.
a new monitor yesterday, so I have like a dual monitor setup, and I'm like,
Right.
man, I'm badass
That's
now.
cool,
Like,
right? And now
this
we're
is great.
sitting here.
Like, this is awesome.
In the background of all of these shots is dual monitors everywhere, right?
Right.
It helps with the workflow of
It does help with the workflow, but we got dual monitors all
Yeah,
over the place in here.
I just got my, and I'm actually I should have sent you that picture too, but we can save that for next time.
That's right. You know what?
Um,
hey, if we showed them everything, they'd never go to your page.
That's true.
Right?
I mean,
we
they would.
want them to go to Torrie H. We
But
want them to go to your
I pulled a
Instagram.
picture from 2011
Okay.
of how I was like working on a used MacBook,
Okay.
and I had a bunch of Post-its like taking all my
Right.
notes and like a shitty iPad.
Right.
And that was like the beginning of like my photography career.
Yeah.
But I have pictures, and I posted them on my social media not too long ago, where I took all these pictures with shitty lighting, a cropped DSLR,
Right.
but you would never tell.
Yeah.
And those are some of my favorite pictures today.
you just
That's how
told-
artists
Where
work, right?
I look at it, I'm like, wow, like I took this like with the shittiest equipment.
Yeah.
And it's still great.
It's
And
still
so
good art.
whenever I struggle, because like we always upgrade and you keep
Yep.
getting the new stuff, and like I'm buying this new stuff, but why isn't my work getting better?
Right.
It's like because
Well,
you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
compositions
Yeah.
and lighting.
Right.
And having just good ideas about what to take.
Yeah.
Or seeing something like we said, those happy accidents in the moment, and go,
Right.
oh, let's go that road.
Yep.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
let's just grab some Amplify hot sauce and splash that shit around.
You do it. And that's their whole thing. You know,
Is
like,
it
they
really
like it
just-
messy.
They like it messy.
Yeah. And
they are your friends, so
they
who
are.
knows?
And
I don't know.
Jake, he was like, yeah, get crazy, whatever you want to do. So when they tell me to get crazy, I'm going to get crazy. So I
That's
was like,
crazy.
all right.
You're gonna hit the cray button.
Just don't get in any of your eye. Right?
Sorry, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't rub your eye.
Yeah, don't do
There
that.
you go. And here's some more of it getting messy. What is this? This isn't that hot sauce, is it?
That is just
So,
the
wait.
aftermath.
That's the aftermath.
That's the aftermath of just a really good thing. So I actually made a spicy chicken sandwich, Cheeto, flaming hot Cheeto chicken
Flaming
sandwich.
hot Cheeto chicken sandwich.
I did.
You made.
So I like threw a
And you
bunch
took
of Cheetos.
photos of you making all of
I
this,
did.
right?
I did.
And then here is the leftover plate.
That's the leftovers.
That's
So
just-
you crusted the chicken with the hot Cheetos.
I sure did. I
Very
threw
good.
the
Very
Cheetos in a
good, sir.
blender,
that is-
crusted it with,
my friends, that is sexy food.
Oh,
that is Foodoir right there, my friends.
and that's the
I mean, it'd
aftermath.
be a little trashy, but you know, us trashy.
No,
folks
no,
can
no.
have
It's
some
it's
sex-
not
No, it's
trashy.
not?
Oh
Okay.
no. I mean, it's not like what is that meal? It's
It's not a casserole.
the casserole. Yes, the Dorito casserole. It's not
No,
like
it's
that.
Those, by the way, those are good too. Just for anyone who's out
I'm gonna
there.
say on this one I think I used truff hot sauce on this one. This is before Amplify.
I got you, but I just want to make a point here. We're looking at a plate with. Just for like people are just listening
Yeah.
in some cases, right? We're looking at a plate that has splattered leftover chicken residue and sauces and stuff.
sauce
That's
and-
it. And yet, this is a piece of art. I mean, this is.
I
this is
love
like-
the lighting, and there's the halo around the dish.
It looks
It's
really
like
cool in the
yeah.
frame. I've sold a couple of these.
I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, you took a dirty plate. I mean, this goes in the dishwasher for everybody else, and you go, no, I want to make that art.
Right. Because I worked so
Right?
hard on everything. And if you see like the progress pictures
Right.
of me making it, and then you have this, and you're like, that must have been a damn good sandwich.
It was a damn good sandwich, and then all of a sudden, it's like that's how satisfying.
Yep.
Like, this
Is there a
process was
picture
so
of you
good.
licking the plate?
No.
No.
On my OnlyFans,
Clark,
you can
hey,
find that.
Clark,
My
yeah.
OnlyFans.
There's a different OnlyFans.
Which I did register Foodoir on OnlyFans.
That's awesome.
Is there any content there yet? No, but there will be.
and that'll be just lots of pictures of you licking plates, because apparently Clark has
I'm
a
not-
fetish we didn't know about.
I'm not giving everything away. You got to check it out.
I'm just saying
Check
that
it.
there's
People are going
still
to sign
some,
up for this thing, and there's nothing there.
there's
That's
some,
awesome.
still some delicious food on that plate.
I know. That's good process stuff, right? I like that. That's a good process. I like that. You photograph the whole thing, including
Yeah,
the,
it's storytelling. Like I'm a visual storyteller when
Yeah.
it comes down to
Yeah.
it.
I like visual storytelling too. I also have diarrhea of the mouth and just talk as well. So we've got that as well. Oh, and Clark's favorite photo.
Hot love. That's what I call
There you
this
go.
one.
Really?
Hot
the
love.
one
You
in my
title
kitchen.
all of these?
I did.
You saved one for me, right? They're not out yet, are they?
This one, no.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this one's for sale.
This one is for sale.
And Clark
Yep.
wants one of one, just by the way.
Okay.
You got to sign the corner or something.
This is
too.
just
Oh, yeah.
this
I'll
is
definitely sign
what
it for
is
you.
it ghost pepper?
This is a habanero.
It's a habanero. It's a picture of a habanero with a white background, and that's it. But it's hot.
It's hot.
baby.
It's
hot.
real hot.
It's hot. That's just so simple and so cool at the same time.
And I took that on top of I had just had a like a small family gathering,
Right.
and I had a white cooler sitting on.
So that's literally just sitting on a cooler.
In my kitchen.
Yeah.
And I have like white poster boards like all over the place
Okay.
because I use them for like different
Sure.
backgrounds. And my friend, who's also a photographer, I was doing his pictures for he and his family, and he brought me peppers. He goes, "Hey, these is for my garden. You want
Oh,
some?" I was
nice.
like, "Sure." And I had just did a campaign for Elan Coats,
Right.
the faux fur company, and they had me put on a red jacket.
Okay.
And I own like nothing red.
Okay.
And so I was like, I really like this red jacket. And so
Right.
I was like, I can incorporate like this pepper with this and
Right.
this like whole thing. And I never did it,
That's
but
cool.
I ended up taking these pictures so I could do like the campaign for it. And I was like, these are great on their own.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I took that like literally like running out my door.
So there's a phrase, a picture says 1,000 words. We're giving 1,000 words for every picture. So I think that's appropriate. It is a talk show,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it
that's-
is. Yeah.
right.
And I love like, this is what I love. Like I want people to ask questions because all my pictures that I take, I can remember exactly what was happening.
Did
That's
you
so cool.
use that in a dish afterwards?
I did. I made, I had a bunch of them. So I
You
ended up,
really know actually all these details.
Oh, yeah.
So that's awesome.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
So you made a bunch of stuff.
I made a
with these-
salsa with this one.
A salsa?
I made a salsa, and then I ended up making what do you call it? Chicken and waffles.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken
And
waffles
I topped
with-
it off with some of these peppers.
Man, my guts would just erupt. I mean, I like some hot
I'm, like,
food, but
super
only so
hungry
much.
now.
Oh, I love it.
Man, are we gonna have to do lunch soon here? Are you cooking for us or something?
I should.
don't know.
Next time I
don't
think
know.
I will. Next time I'll bring
hey,
those wings.
It's the wings, Clark.
yeah,
We're
we'll
gonna
do
do
the
the
wing
wings.
off.
Yeah, we'll have to do the wings. Torrie will come back, and then we'll have Torrie wings and Clark wings, and I don't know.
Go wing it.
We'll wing it.
That's kind of crazy. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff. And now you're taking this stuff on the road with you, right? And you
I am.
and you do these pop art shows and pop up art shows.
Yeah.
You doing anything else more stable other than like an online?
Not yet.
Okay.
And again, committing to something like that because even like having a studio,
Right.
Like I've toyed with the idea.
Gallery, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Well,
You have an online gallery.
I have
and
an
that's
online
working-
gallery.
Yeah. So that's good.
I have that.
Right.
But even like breaking into this, I'm learning how this works. Even getting
Right.
into like, I want everything to look good. I want it to be framed properly. I want
Sure.
to make sure I have enough,
So you like
merchandise.
these pop up art shows.
I do. And I do them like 2 months at a time. So
Right.
like when I pop up, they're normally up for about 2 months.
Right. Yeah,
Wherever I
but you
go.
like that because you have a lot of control over that.
I do.
So that-
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. And you're also doing something else beyond that, which I thought was really unique. You got reached out by a company that owns some properties, and they rent them out on Airbnb. What are you
Yes.
doing for them? I mean, as soon as I heard that, you immediately expect, oh, he's going to take pictures of rooms. Yay.
Right.
Right? But that's not what they asked for.
Right. So, North Indy Vacation Property Rentals, they reached out because they have phenomenal like Airbnbs.
Okay.
Like, I mean, they have, there's a theme to them all. They're all artsy. They're all super cozy.
And they're like kitchen
And they're-
kind of deal?
and they're consistent. And so they were like, "Hey, we love the content that you're creating.
Nice.
Would you want to do that for like us?"
Cool.
And I was like, "Sure, like absolutely." And I can also use this opportunity to do like an artist retreat for myself.
Right.
Because I love staycations. Like I've been doing staycations like forever. And
Right.
it's going to the JW Marriott downtown or
Right.
just like staying somewhere, for a couple nights.
Just
kinda-
locally.
Just
Yeah.
locally, just to like, experience the city, just not work,
Yeah, and as opposed to just going to an encroaching hurricane.
Right.
You don't want to just every time like, hey, let's just go to the path of a
Right.
hurricane.
And with the whole pandemic thing and working from home, like it has helped me because when I'm at home, it's easy for me to distract myself.
Okay.
And that's like doing dishes or
Yep.
doing laundry,
we're
housework
all
or
like that,
whatnot.
yeah.
So these Airbnbs, I don't have to do any of that.
Right.
And so I get to go in, I get to cook. It helps me create content, and
Okay, so-
it's just super inspirational.
And what kind of content are you doing for them?
I'm just my content essentially. So it's
So
like
you're doing your own thing.
I'm doing my own thing and just sharing it with them to show people like this is what you can be doing in here. It's not just a room to stay.
Right.
It's not just a place to stay for the night. Like you can come in here
So you're
and
taking
you can.
photos of yourself
Yeah.
cooking food
Uh-huh.
in somebody else's house
Yep.
to just show you how homey all of these cool places are.
Exactly.
And you're doing these other art photos,
Yeah.
artistic photos, and you just get to do them in a completely different location
Right.
just because they want to showcase how comfortable these places are and how arty and kitschy and cool that is.
Right. And it's neat because I want to inspire other artists
Right.
to do it, because immediately when I got home, I wanted to purge everything. Like everything, like my garage, my like closets.
Oh yeah, you want
like,
to clean your house?
because everything, because I'm already like clean and like organized.
Okay.
You know, and it made me want to be even more.
Okay.
Because it was like, all right, I'm not distracted by anything. I'm not, I don't have to like clean up like the bathroom like every 5 minutes or whatnot. And it's just nice. It was like a nice change of like pace where you don't have to do anything. You just go in, you can do some work.
That's cool.
And it's a change of environment. And
I mean,
eventually,
that's like I would never have thought that would have been a real thing. By the way, Clark coughed, just so anybody wanted to. That's fine. That's yeah.
but here's the deal with that. Like exactly, a lot of people don't think of that. And
Yeah, no.
it's
They thought of being able to use you in that capacity.
but
trying to come
also
up with
think
new
about
content, that's kinda cool.
I explained it of a way of I hate being sold. Like if you come to me and you say like, hey, I'm knocking on your door. Like, would you like to buy like this security system today?
Right.
My mind is immediately like shut down.
Yeah. You know why that happens? Because you're normal.
Well,
Because
That-
that happens to everybody.
but people buy into it.
Right.
You know, some people buy into it.
Right.
And I also think about like I wouldn't want that to be my job.
Right.
Like if I had to sell something, I want it to be genuine. I want it to be something that I can speak of.
Right, sure.
And I'm not doing the same spiel over and over and over.
Right.
And so when it comes to like the Airbnb things, I'm like, people like, check this out. Like this is a great opportunity.
Right.
Whether you want to host a party for like a baby shower or
Right.
you want to have like a birthday party and you don't want to have to like worry about getting your house together.
Right.
Go to an Airbnb.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole different angle at going to an Airbnb, like
Yeah.
a staycation or having a party. Or
And
doing
these are
something
set
else.
up like that.
That's
And it's
cool.
funny because they just posted a photo clip from the Netflix show Our Father.
Okay.
And they used that one of the homes
In that
on the show.
Oh, nice.
So one of the last houses I stayed at, they used it, and I was like, that background looks real familiar.
You're familiar. Like, hold
like,
on, let me go through my
This
photos.
is super creepy.
Let me scroll through. Where was that?
But that stuff happens like all the time, though.
That's
you know,
awesome.
and I've never been like starstruck. I take that back. Reba McEntire.
Reba
I was starstruck
Wait.
by Reba McEntire.
Yeah, but I mean, what did you meet her?
I did.
Really? How?
It was a couple years at the Indy 500 race. We were
Okay.
in a box, and I turn around, and she's like right there, and I was like, "Whoa, Reba McEntire!"
That's
Like,
crazy cool.
This is
'cause you
crazy.
didn't have that reaction with me. What's up?
I mean, I did, but you don't remember
Actually,
me.
no.
Remember?
No, you did have that reaction because you and I showed up in the middle of downtown middle of nowhere outside some concrete manufacturing.
It was super sketch.
It's super we're like pulling up in our cars. We don't know what because Clark had hired us both to help shoot a music video for the Jeff Ware band. And inside this warehouse, they had set up the stage and all that sort of stuff. And you and I get out of the cars like, hey, what's going on here?
Right.
Because Clark hadn't showed up yet.
I was like, it's been a long time since I met somebody in an alley like this.
We're in this back alley somewhere. Like, am I at the right place?
Like, I've seen these movies before.
But anyway, so yeah, that was cool. We'll have Jeff Ware, right?
Yeah,
They'll-
for sure.
they'll come on here at some
That
point.
was a really cool video.
It was a kind of cool video.
It was fun.
We shot a music video for the Jeff Ware band. What is it? Talking to You, right?
Yep.
And they set it up like it's a TV show, like
That was a lot of fun.
and then
Yeah.
we actually came back to the studio, and then they wanted to look like a foreign TV show, so we got weirdly
Tatiana.
Yeah, Tatiana. We got a Ukrainian woman with a Moscow Russian background to introduce the band in Russian.
It was so good. It was so perfect.
Yeah, I love the fact that actually in that preamble that she does at the beginning with talking with Toddy, which is
Yeah.
it's really funny. She basically is making fun of the band, and we.
Well,
didn't know
she's
it.
hilarious anyway.
I know, but I didn't know. Like, it sounds like she's saying something really cool. In fact, she's like, I don't know, this band, right? And so it's pretty funny. Like, if you find out somebody translate, it's actually funny. And I don't think we meant it to be funny, but she just did that anyway. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, I guess we're talking about me now.
Hey, that's all
no,
right.
I'm just kidding. Nobody really wants to hear about me. So anyway,
But
well,
yeah,
that's cool stuff.
It's really neat, and that's the thing is like I want to inspire other people,
That's
and I
awesome.
like thinking outside the box.
That's awesome.
And that's why I was getting to that thing of like when somebody tries to sell me something, I immediately shut down.
Right.
But if I see an experience or I see that it's worth it or
Right.
it can be cool or how it can relate to me, I'm totally on board.
That's awesome.
And I think that's where my brand comes in. Like I
Okay.
never approach someone as like, oh my God, let me shoot your wedding, or hey, let me do this for you.
Right.
Because what I do, there has to be magic like both ways. Like you
Sure.
have to want me, and then I have to like want to help you.
So you want everybody to swipe right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Because
you.
I don't
Yeah,
want you,
nice.
or even swipe left. Versus because I don't want to do a job just because you feel bad because you know me,
Yeah.
or you feel like I asked you to do it. Because what if I don't meet your expectations?
Then
Then
it's
it's like
sounds
double
we're getting
disappointment.
That we're getting into like some serious psychological issues. I mean,
And that's that. I mean, my
do
whole
you need a
brand.
hug? We're all like that though, right?
No, my whole brand is like that. I mean, it's
That's
about
cool.
like
Good for you.
like a mental hug for people.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody wants to do a project where everybody's both sides are coming
Right.
at it with.
And there's no reason that it couldn't. It doesn't have to be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
So, where else can we see this? The TorrieH.com,
Yep.
Instagram, Torrie Hudson.
Yep.
Facebook,
Torrie Hudson.
Torrie Hudson.
I'm pretty
Torrie
easy.
Hudson
You can just
Photography.
Google me,
You
and
can Google
it'll pop up.
As long as you get the TORRIE.
TORRIE. Yep.
If you get that, you'll find plenty of stuff.
All the
anything
stuff.
new coming in? Anything on the horizon that's kind of big?
There's some
Oh, wait.
fun stuff, but we can't talk about it now. But we can talk about it soon.
We're going to talk about it soon because you teased this Albuquerque thing, didn't you?
I did. Oh, something else really cool. I got to work with Master Chef Kelsey. That was really cool.
That's cool.
That was pretty awesome. And again, the universe like putting me in these places. Because there was the point I tried to get away from the food stuff.
Did you?
Because I was like, oh, this food stuff is like mine. Like it's me. I'm doing it
Right.
for fun. And, I got an email
Right.
one night and it was, hey, I'm the winner of Master Chef Season 11 and I'm looking for some food photos and some headshots. And I was like, wait, what?
What?
And
That's
so
so cool.
immediately, I reached out. We had a meeting. I shot some photos for her website.
Where did you go for that?
We went to her house and cooked in her kitchen, and then we went over to the test kitchen because she has a spot. It's called Inspo.
Okay.
And so she has a spot over there, and so we did food pictures
that's
and
awesome.
things like that. So it's just a fun journey that it's taken me.
So we could do like another hour of all these weird.
Oh my
shows.
god,
Yeah,
dude! I could
stuff.
talk for.
Weddings with drone shots in them and everything.
All that.
Videos. Yeah.
I have some like weird shoots that I've done. Where
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's cool. But this is good stuff, man. We
Bison
like that.
farm. You did a bison farm.
Bison Farm was
Bison
neat.
farm. Yeah. So basically, in a 10-year span, you picked up a camera, tried to figure it out, right?
Yep.
And 2 years ago, you were like, I have an opportunity to cut all my distractions and do this full time. And now you're doing all of this cool art that you like to do for yourself.
You're
projects
just
for these
crushing
other-
it.
Yeah,
Hey,
so you
man.
crush it.
Thank
So
you.
that's
It's-
awesome.
You just got to get in there, and the whole thing is like believing. You'll go through pockets where you question
yeah,
yourself,
sure.
but what doesn't come with that?
So how come you're not a motivational speaker too now? Because
Maybe I am.
Oh, you are. Hey,
Maybe I'm
we
doing it
are.
in a different way.
Thank you. This is.
But that's the thing too. Calling yourself an influencer, motivational speaker, you got to be careful with those things
yeah.
because people hear those and they run with it.
I don't use any of those
And-
terms for myself.
Even I've been part of some like influencing programs, obviously, but I don't like to say that.
I don't know what that means. Influencing programs. That sounds like you joined a cult.
Maybe I did.
Well,
when
I
you
might
see-
have. I think there's a couple of
Well, when you see,
episodes
like-
in my life that I'm like, hey, wait.
When you see someone say like I'm an influencer, it comes with this bad like feeling. Like if
okay.
you
Yeah.
you're somewhere you're like, oh, I'm an influencer. People
Yeah.
expect free things.
That's sort of like how I feel with the term deserve. I guess I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
See, deserve. I meant more like
Yeah,
internally.
I got you.
Um, But
An influencer now has this self-promotion.
Yeah.
Self-promotion, and I'm
And-
selling myself and hawking other people's
and
stuff.
when you think about it, like an
Yeah.
influencer, you're influencing like people around you.
Yeah.
It's not because you just get free stuff, and it's not about getting free
Right,
stuff.
and what we really want to do is we want to interact with people.
Right. You should be willing to pay for all those things and still influence. If you really mean it and you're really sold on a product,
Right.
you should be willing to pay for those things.
Right, okay.
Never assume anything's going to be for free.
That's a good philosophy moving forward.
Yeah, because I'll go into a restaurant and I never expect anybody to give anything for free. I want to
Yeah, but when
purchase.
you
I
go to
want
a restaurant, isn't that the kind of point of how a restaurant works?
I mean, sometimes, but there are places I go that I like will boast up or I have a relationship with.
Oh, so you're like so what you're saying is like you're super celebrity.
No, I'm not saying that.
You're like, I go into these places and they give me free stuff.
They do, and I'm also super grateful.
I'm sitting here doing that, and you're like, yeah, they do. I'm
They
like,
do,
"Man."
and it's one of those things that I'm grateful for. So it's like, how can I turn this in like tenfold? So
That's
do I
cool.
tip more? Do I
Right.
give them an extra boost? Do I do like free product photography for them because it just costs me time at that point?
Right.
And then along the lines, that builds a relationship, and guess what? I get more business from that.
That's
it may
awesome.
not come directly from them.
That's cool.
But later on, it comes.
That's what it's all about, though, is
Yeah.
building the relationships.
Give back and building
Yeah.
relationships. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes, we all feel nice, warm, and fuzzy on the inside.
Good.
Now bring the chicken wings. Where are the chicken wings?
That'll also get
We
us a
got to go
different-
to Joe's Butcher Shop on Main Street to get those chicken wings.
Yeah, and then we'll have a different kind of warm inside.
That's
Because
right.
you'll have those, those peppers in it. I don't know. So we'll see. I think we're running out of stuff to talk about.
Are we?
No, we're not. But I think at an hour or so. I don't know how long this is, but
Yeah,
we should probably let.
We'll
these
save
people
some
get
for
on-
next time.
Yeah, save from next time. Let these people move on with their lives.
Yeah, let's do it.
That sounds good.
Hey, it's been great though.
Yeah,
I
but-
really appreciate it. Like you guys,
No,
are
it's
just
cool.
awesome.
We
Thanks for
love-
coming in, Tori. We love
Yeah,
you.
we
Yeah,
like having
man.
it around. It's fun.
Hey, this is like what we all need here, especially me. I mean, this feeds my soul, like we were talking about
What?
earlier.
Just the sit down and chat.
Yeah.
and have people watch it.
Well, the watching part, I'm nervous about. I don't like.
Are you
people
really?
watching me.
Really?
I'm weird about it, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
That sounds good. Good. Well,
It's just weird.
because so for the people who really are concerned about your mental health, it's probably better just to listen to the podcast version.
Now you can watch it. I washed my
Oh,
hair
watch
for
it?
this.
Oh,
I
you did
washed
watch
my
it?
hair for this. You
washed your
better
hair?
watch it.
It does look good. The hair looks fabulous. You're not wearing the hat, so
I'm not wearing the
and
hat.
and you got
Yeah.
the beard all good and going good.
I
so we're
did.
good.
I did.
Right on. This is fun, man.
Yeah, this has been great.
We love
Yeah,
having it, right?
Absolutely.
Right, Clark?
I'm having a blast.
No, I mean
Tor-
we like Tori.
I love Tori.
good.
one of the-
I mean, it'd be
Tori's
weird
one
if you
of the-
guys had me on here you didn't like me.
I don't know. Everybody we seem to like, but ultimately, yeah,
I know what you mean.
we're
We've all
happy.
been there.
We're happy to have Tori.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
How you doing?
absolutely.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, Clark, and
All
everybody.
right, man.
Yeah, thanks,
All right,
Clark.
everybody have a good week.
Thanks.
all right,
We'll talk to
guys.
you. See you next week. Thanks. Bye.